Hello there and welcome to the Glow Up Method. Hello there. This is the place where we talk all things personal development, personal growth, learning through our challenges. Hello there. My name is Natasha and I am so lucky and honored to be here today. Today's been one of those tricky, kind of tough days. I had went to sleep with no problem, but I struggled to stay asleep. And my mind started doing like that kind of racing thing. And I know the reason for it was, I had done something a few years ago and I thought I did everything right. Like we had looked at this paperwork, we had, did our due diligence, thought everything went right, and we didn't get it right. And now I'm filled with a lot of like remorse for it. And I know, like I sit here and I know everything I've said on here. I know everything I've experienced. It's through these kind of struggle situations that we grow, right? Like it's going to be painful. There will be an end to it at some point in time. It's just, I caused myself a lot more work. And so I have some not necessary regrets, but yeah, there's some regrets on there, I understand where I was. I understand I was busy. I understand my why did I do that? But I need to really understand that. I really need to confront that uncomfortable feeling and realize, why is it I procrastinated on this so much? I mean, it's not just one answer. There are multiple reasons, and I had valid reasons, and some of them, I just didn't want to deal with it. And now I'm paying that Pied Piper, and everything is like crunch time. Everything is like time is of the essence because of my current situation. If time wasn't of the essence, well, yeah, this is a nuisance and this is a bother, but ultimately everything would be fine. Like it's going to be okay. Like there's no rush, but I have this urgency, and it's like this rush to nowhere. And so, I had struggled with sleep. And of course, like, do you ever have this happen where it's like, I can't sleep, but it seems like about 30 seconds before your alarm goes off, like miraculously now I could fall asleep, like miraculously now, I'm just ready to close my eyes and slumber off. And so, I get up, I take my shower, I get in the car, and I'm rubbing my eyes because the last few days I haven't checked, or the last few Thursdays I haven't specifically checked because there wasn't any traffic. I'm like, cool, even though I'm leaving early, it's still always giving me enough time. Well, I'll be darned. I get in the car and it says an hour and 9 minutes. And I'm like, what? Like at that point, I'm late to the class. I can't even go to this class because it's not a dance class. So you have equipment that needs to be set up, and you need to warm up. Like it's impolite and, actually frowned upon to come into this classroom late. So at first I was disappointed, and I said, okay, I'm just accepting it. I'm gonna still go. The dance class is my favorite. It's saying I'm gonna get there at 9:21 now. Now, as it starts inching up. But I'm seeing we're not moving anywhere. Like I'm on City Street still to get to the on-ramp, and I'm not moving. And so I just see it keep inching up. But I still pursue. I still, I'm going. I've got time now. And, Chris and I he also, like, where the direction he was going was an opposite, but he was in a parking lot too. So we just sat there chatting for a little bit, and or a lot of bit, because we were both just in our vehicles. And I finally made it. My class starts at 10. It originally had gotten up to a point at said 10:01. Thankfully, I ended up getting there at 9:57, had enough time to go to the bathroom. That was a 2-hour trip for a 50-minute class. And, after sitting in there, like I didn't have time to warm up. My back was like stiffened because sitting like that for a long time is really challenging for me, and pushing the pedal. It's just like that right now is like at its threshold. So I was super uncomfortable during my class. The class just overall had a different vibe, whether it was because of my own personal vibe I was bringing in there. It just felt different. Like I felt very forced. I felt like I was forcing myself to do something. And I was still enjoying it, but I was in a physical pain, not like a 10 or anything like that. It just was like a nice solid 4. And, I had a lot going through my mind that I was unable to like kind of work out during my first class and kind of get out of the way and then really focus in. So it kind of started my day off on a little bit of a odd thing. I wasn't upset about it, but I was just like, okay, I was going with it, and it was unusual. And then it was unusual for me. This is like my favorite class. So it was unusual for me to not feel chipper. But then I loved it because my friend, I was telling you, my membership ended and blah, 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 blah. And so my friend's like talking to the manager. I mean, she was like going above and beyond to make sure that I had membership. She was I was gonna get membership for free for a month. And like, it was just so incredible what she did. Thankfully, I ended up finding somebody utilizing, the resources that I somehow happened to do one pickleball class, and I ended up in a pickleball group chat, and these pickleball people, there are so many in there. They're like, yeah, sure, here, come on my group. And at first I was like, this is weird. I paid the guy yesterday. Today I'm on the membership for March. So here we go. Isn't that awesome? So I am really excited for that, to now have that like sudden, catastrophe at least be over with. Originally Chris had offered to pay for it, but I said, this is my thing. I can take care of paying for myself. I mean, I really can't, but I can, like it should be one of those things that I'm scrapping out, but it is my life. It is my life force. And if I was struggling in there today, like I can't imagine the struggle I'd be having without it. So, things have been going. I want to give you an update also on my car. So I went in, the gentleman degreased, did all these things. I don't know. He was like, let me show you pictures. I'm like, you can show me whatever you want. My proof in the pudding is there hasn't been any leaks on my driveway. So that's huge. And as of right now, it looks like I don't need any additional repairs at all. So that is a phenomenal news. My little Bertha over here can just keep on. And I appreciate that. So that was a huge, huge bullet dodged there. And, the kindness again. So, what I'm really grateful for is my life isn't without strife, just like yours is. Like, things come up, things pop up, but it does always feel like there is some kind of favor. There is some kind of help. There is the right person that I'm aligned with at the right time to help me get through, all the troubles and the strife that are happening. I'm aligned with the best doctors. I'm aligned with friends that my connections have allowed, me to foster. I have gotten over myself and my ego and my not wanting to bother anybody and thinking I need to do everything on my own, and to learn that I don't have to do everything on my own, that I can reach out to a community. I want to share with you because I want you to know that too. Like, if you don't know that and you feel like, oh, this is my problem, this is my bother, like, no, we are all here for one another. And the more we speak, like, what our experience is, whether it be the good, the bad, the ugly, like, I, for so long, never said anything to anyone. My grandma had no idea the torture I was going through at school, had no idea that I didn't want to live, had no idea how much pain I was in, and that I didn't have friends anymore, and all of those things. Like, nobody knew, because I wanted to keep this front up that everything was okay. I don't want anybody to worry about me. And I carried that same thing on. Like, I was like best friends with my cousin, and we grew up together. We shared a room for years. I would always visit them in the summer. She'd come visit us. And I never wanted to really talk with her about the things I was going through with like my marriage and stuff. Like, yeah, I'd vent like, oh my gosh, can you believe this kid did this? Like, certain things like that. But like the real deep, like vulnerable places, I just shut off to the world. I mean, so few people know that part of me, yet here I am now sharing everything. And yeah, maybe I'm doing that like overcorrection, where it's like, first I didn't share anything, and now I'm just like, hey, here's what it is. But I feel in my heart that it is the right thing to do. I feel in my heart that these stories, your story, helps me grow. Your story has a lesson. It has a purpose. What I'm experiencing here, whether it be something major or something minor, like, oh my God, my gym membership isn't, like, come on, seriously, like, first world problems over here. Like, come on now. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, in some senses of the world, but it's really important to me. It's really important to me. And so, yes, it may be a gym membership, but it is a perfect metaphor and example in every aspect about how we go through something. And so it feels really nice to have something completed, because part of my overwhelm is there's so many things out here I'm juggling and balancing, and I'm dropping the balls on, and I'm picking up new balls, and I'm kind of scattered, and there's a part of me that just wants this nurturing, this part of me that still wants to be taken care of, that still feels this urgency to just be like held and cuddled, and I want to just hide away from all of the reality, right? Like, I just honestly, and again, like I said, I'm in this new relationship with somebody old who is my husband, right? I'm having this new experience that's filled with vulnerability and honesty, and meeting one another where we are today. But then there's days like yesterday where I start to kind of panic, and I start to be like, what am I doing? And like, wonder if the old him emerges and the old me responds, and I just started to panic. Like, it's just got me like nervous. Like, what am I doing? What is going on here? Like, and nothing had triggered it. Like, he was great. He was wonderful yesterday. I mean, we had a great day. He had jobs in the morning, and then the rest of the jobs had moved their appointments dates or canceled, fixed, whatever. And so, I happened to be on that side of town. I literally had a doctor's appointment about 5 minutes from him. And I went over there, and, we hung out, we made lunch, like, it was great. Like, there was nothing wrong. We're doing puzzles. Like, it's just something, I don't know if it's the fear. I don't know what it is, but it kind of carried on with me for the rest of, the night. And I was kind of tired at one point. I drank some coffee, but it was a beautiful day. We went for a walk together. I mean, there's everything, like, we were together, and even he was telling me, like, this is everything I ever wanted. And perhaps it was because, I'm talking to him, and he's talking to me, and I'm like, this is silly, like, we're in two different places, and we're juggling around, and the reality of the fact that, like, our kids are going to be moving out soon, and, just life is changing, and now we made this decision, and we kind of have to live with it, and what are our options? Do we really have to live with it? And what is it we want to do? And just the whole thing of it, it just makes me really think about stuff. And I think that that's just weighing on my soul, because there is this uncertainty, there is this, for the most part, I feel like I'm doing the right thing, like 99% of the time. But then on occasion, I'll read something, and it was like, says something about you're letting somebody go, and, like there's a purpose for all this. And, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, did I, like, it just, sometimes I start to overthink things instead of just taking a step back and just really getting back into the meditation, and really, like, asking myself, coming back to my center, and seeing what it is that I want to do and what makes me proud. I've said on here time and time again, I don't want to rush things, because I want to make sure we're making the best, healthiest decisions for us, and not, we were already this far. Like, if suddenly we move back together and then redo it again, I mean, that's honestly just absolutely torture for not only myself, but for him, for our children, for our family as a whole. Just, like, it's just unnecessary. So I really do appreciate and enjoy the time together. We have our times together, and, we have our times apart. I go to the gym. He, goes to concerts that he enjoys. He goes to the gym. Like, we have our own independent lives, but I'm feeling really, in a sense, like, codependent. Like, I really need some extra love and care. And so when my friends at the gym show me and extend to me this extra care, right now it feels so heartwarming. And it could be just the fact that they were still thinking about the fact that I didn't have a membership. Like, that to me just means so much, to have this place that I can be open and honest and vulnerable. I could be fun, and I could be silly, and I can be kind, and I could be complimentary, but I can also be vulnerable and say, I need help too. and I can, release some of the things that are going on inside of me. And so, today is one of those days. Like, once I went shopping, and I had a coupon, I had to use the $10, I was forced to. So I needed things, and then I, cooked a meal for the family. I usually cook earlier in the afternoon, eat around 2:33 or whatever, and then, like on my ideal schedule, I got to eat. Chris happened to be nearby, and I was again open and honest. I'm like, I just called him and I was like, hey, I'm just feeling really anxious. Or he's like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know. Like, it's just nothing in particular, but just everything. And he just came and hugged me. And how sweet is that? Like, how kind is that? Like, he just surprised me. Next thing you know, I was still sitting in my car and he was behind my car, and, he gave me a big hug. We cooked lunch together, had lunch. He had his own appointments later on after that. So, my son came down, my other son came down, and it was just nice to be a family. Like, and for those moments, all my fears and anxieties and worries kind of, slipped away. And so I'm continuing to make progress. And what I have to remind myself is some days it is that way. Just like when my sons daughter were in the hospital, it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And so, yes, maybe a setback or a step back may feel like, you're going backwards, but really still in the scheme of life, we're making progress. And, everything isn't by day. It's, like if I look at it by the grand scheme of things, I'm so much more ahead. But I do just feel a little bit discombobulated, and I feel just out of sorts. I don't feel myself. And so I'm really excited for tonight. I really have all my plans to like get my things done. I do have to take my son to and from his practice, and that doesn't end until 9 p.m. So I'll be doing that, but I'm going to come home and hopefully get a nice sleep. I haven't had really good sleep because my back's been injured, but I did make a doctor's appointment. So I did even try to see if I can get one earlier, but they didn't have any availability. And, I'm making progress. I had another doctor's appointment. They're going to do this like ultrasound to make sure everything is okay with me. Like, so I'm making progress, and I have to remind myself that things don't always move as fast as we want. Just like when I was on my weight loss journey, I was working really hard, and I was making tough decisions consistently, right? Like, the easy decision would be go back and do nothing. Like, that's so simple, right? And I was making the tough decisions, and I didn't always see a numerical result. I didn't always see, a change in the, measuring tape around my waist, or the number on the scale, or the way I felt, or the numbers on the blood pressure machine. Even though I was showing up and doing everything that was right, it didn't mean I immediately had the results I wanted. And so I need to remind myself that here we are in this really sticky phase. Like, I've already made a commitment. I'm in this. I'm moving forward in this. And there's been some hiccups. I'm perhaps just in like relation to my, journey. I got sick, or, physically my body was having an injury, or something has happened, like, where now my time is not available anymore. So it's very similar to like that, what I'm experiencing now, where there's some hiccups. It's not smooth sailing, and I can lay down and quit. I have that option. I can go back to just pretending this stuff is not a problem. It doesn't exist, and, just let the chips fall where they may. Or I can keep pushing through. I can understand there's a struggle, and I can learn the lessons through each and every single one of them. And that's kind of where I'm at this very moment, is I really just want to learn. I really want to move forward and keep pressing. And so for today, like, my priority is to be kind to myself. I had some plans to do certain things today. I quite frankly did not have the energy, mood, or vibe. If I couldn't get through my dance class, having a great time, there was no way I could do this project that I needed to do. So it's on hold, and that's okay. Perhaps tomorrow, after a good night's sleep tonight, I will be re-energized and glowy and ready for this. And, having some kind of focus. And again, like, when things get, like do or die, we kind of panic, right? Like, I'm a little bit in this do or die situation where, a part of me is trying to exist as the mom and the caregiver and the person I have always been. But there's also this part of me and this one that's like, oh yes, I want to do this thing and I want to dedicate this time, and it's great and it's lovely. And it's really, at the end of the day, an hour a day I'm dedicating to this, like physically recording and physically uploading. But at the end of the day, like, that's still 1 hour and I still want to be able to do that. But I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I need some of these job applications I'm putting out there to say yes to me. I need somebody to take a chance on me so that, I can offset the overwhelming amount of numbers that are coming at me to just survive, and not only myself, but to help my children survive. And it's just very overwhelming. And then when I come in and more is being asked of me, I start to feel really like I'm buried in it, and I don't feel as supported in this house. And it's hard because I support you guys. And so it makes me feel very challenged and not always wanting to be here, and really wanting someone to support me and be like, hey, I can help you out. And so, it's a difficult time. And again, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to record about. Like, I don't know if I'm even in the mood, but I'm like, no, this is what you have to do. This is what we were just talking about. It's about showing up even when you don't want to, even when you don't know how to, even when you don't know what you're going to do. It's showing up and doing it. It's trying to figure it out. It's seeing what other resources and options are available and going down those roads. It doesn't mean you're saying no to everything. It just means that you're saying yes to you. It means that you're willing to go in and do your best for that day. And is this going to be the best episode ever? I don't know. That's not the point. The point is, I am today's best. This is me showing up as my absolute best today. And so I want you to show up for you as your absolute best wherever you are. If you have a physical pain, if you have emotional pain, spiritual pain, mental pain, if you have, struggles, financial pain, education pains, academic pains, like all these things that come, relationship pain, like there's so many different areas of your life that could be tugging and pulling at you and causing you turmoil and strife. And sometimes, like I say, like, if for all y'all that remember that, you're just like, Calgon, take me, like, I need a break and I need a pause. And sometimes I need that, like, and right now I think I need that. And I keep like, well, you're taking breaks and pauses, but I'm really not. I mean, I'm with somebody else. I'm doing other things. I'm concerned. I'm cooking. I'm cleaning. I'm shopping. I'm doing a lot of things. And so I have to give myself the credit for all the things that I am doing, and that I've made it this far, and, we're still surviving, and I've still been going to my gym. I have been eating quite a bit, been like just indulging in everything and anything, like for comfort, I think. But I'm still working out. So yes, I know I could tell myself that, like, hey, I've gained some weight maybe, but I'm like, listen, I'm doing my absolute best I can right now. And, things are going to continue to move forward and move on. So I just want to encourage you. Maybe you're having a tough day. Maybe today's the best day of your life. And if it is, please, I am so proud of you. I'm so grateful for you. I am like, I love it. Keep it up. I am not having the best day of my life. It's a challenging day. It's a tricky day. And, those challenges are coming at me from a lot of different places. And it's like a chessboard. And I'm like, how do I move forward? And then I have to remind myself, this is my game of life. I get to choose. I have wonderful options that even in the toughest days, like, I get to have these problems. It's been a tough year. It's been a tough time, but yet there's been some really beautiful and remarkable things. I mean, I love having a partner I can lay in their arms with. I love having a partner that I can say, hey, I'm struggling today, and they come and hug me. Like, I love that, because before I'd hold it in and I'd be resentful that he didn't hug me or do whatever it was I expected I needed in that moment. And, he wouldn't do anything because he didn't know what to do because it was going to be wrong. And, all that stuff is kind of gone right now. And I really do love this new version of us. And the funny thing is yesterday when we were cooking, these pots I talked about a couple days ago, in the like rewatching them. So Chris bought these pots, and I was so frustrated because I didn't have this communication that he was going to buy the pots, and with the pots I wanted. I wasn't consulted about the kind of pots that we're going to have because I'm committed to the pots. I've had some of these pots for 20 years. So like, this is a long haul, I'm loyal. I want to be considered in this pot experience here. So I wasn't, and and he was like, well, when I leave, I'll just take my pots with me or whatever. And he didn't. But once he left, I it was one of the things I looked like, oh, did he take the pots, and he didn't leave it. He didn't want to leave us without pots. So he left him here for us. And he was using him yesterday, and he's like, I really like these pots. And I'm like, yeah, they're really good pots. He's like, no, I like them. I like them because they're just so much better than the old pots. And they really represent like us. Like the old pots did the job, they did their things, but they just didn't work properly. And these ones are smooth, and I like them a lot. Like, and so, it was funny that he had this metaphor for these pots. And I was like, this is so funny because like I was just rewatching an episode and posted about these pots and how like something so silly as pots could be this symbol in our marriage. So I say all this to say, go out there and be you. Be the best you can be today. It doesn't mean every day is going to be a 10, just like I tell my son, every meal is not a 10, but you are getting to live this life, even on the struggle-ish kind of days. I'm so grateful, like Chris had said, hey, maybe if you had left on time, then you would have been in that accident, and very well could have been, because it happened exactly at the time I would have been where it happened. So you never know. So like what something feels. And then when I was at the grocery store, the checker was saying the same thing. And I was like, you're the second person. She was talking about how she had seen this Joel Osteen years ago. And, he was saying that, oh, you forgot something at home, and then you go back again, you're so frustrated, and that could have actually been a protection for you. And so we got to talking. I'm like, oh, I love this book called The Book of Joy, the Dalai Lama, and all this. So we started talking in there. So yeah, here's something like a 2-hour car ride that, some two different people were like, hey, maybe that car ride saved you. And I was like, maybe it did. And so I'm just really grateful to be here, even though it may not always seem like it, like right now, I'm not feeling, I feel it. I'm not, able to, show it in the way I truly feel. I am so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to have lunch with my kids and have food to give to my kids. And life is good. Life is good. I'm grateful for it. So I'm so grateful for you for tuning in today. What are you grateful for? Like, how are you going to show up as the best you can today? Meet yourself where you are. I'm not going to beat myself up because I'm not chipper and I had a plan to do something today that really needed a lot of energy in which I didn't have. No, I just said, okay, we'll try again tomorrow. So I say all that to say thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm so proud of you. Give yourself a big smile and give yourself a compliment. I got to think today I'm going to say to myself, I am so grateful for you, Natasha, for being as resilient as you are. Things come at you and you don't let them break you. Yes, you do bend but you do not break. And so I'm really proud of the fact that you can overcome and then not only take that situation personally, but you can share it with others so that they can rejoice with you and learn as well. So also, please then go out there today and give somebody a big smile and a compliment. Today at the gym, I saw somebody walking out and she had this beautiful dress on and glowing skin and beautiful hair. I'm like, wow, you look so beautiful walking out of the gym. I love your dress. And she said, thank you. She's like, it's just too hard to put on pants after being all wet after taking a shower. I'm like, when I used to shower at the gym, I did these same exact things. So I know exactly what you're talking about. It's so much easier to just slip on a dress versus trying to pull on your pants in the locker room. So I say all this to say, go out there today, share your kindness with you and share it with others. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.